Hi everyone. Today we will go through our hypothesis testing project based on a Northwind database. So we've been hired as consultants from the Alpha company in order to increase the overall revenue. And we've been asked to check their database that is a free source Google database called Northwood. And in our first approach, we will be inspecting this database. Um, we're gonna define now some terms, and those are null and alternative hypothesis, with null being the hypothesis that is the most conservative one, so there's no actual variation between those two groups, and p-value, where p-value is the probability of an event happening due to random chance. We're gonna set this p-value to 0.05. So if the p-value that we're going to obtain is less than 0.05, we're going to reject the null hypothesis and going to accept the alternative one. We're going to also talk about a coherence parameter. This coherence parameter is used to understand the actual effect size. So that in this case, we're just not going to speak about if there is a statistical difference between two groups, but how big this difference is. And finally, we will give some advices to the management in order to increase the overall revenue. We've got 6 different questions that we obtain through an in-depth analysis of our database, and we'll go through each one of those, and uh, finally we will have some insights. So we will be giving some advices to our management. First question is, does discount amount have a statistically significant effect on the quantity of a product in an order? And if so, what levels of discount? So here, what we're gonna look is that for if we compare different levels of discounts to our product, there's a difference, a variation in terms of quantity and how big this variation is. So as we can see from our table, we've got compare some different discounts. So for example, we got 5% discount and 10% discount. And as we can see, our null hypothesis, we failed to reject our null hypothesis in all the cases. That's because our p-value is greater than 0.05. And what this means is simply that if we apply a discount of 5% on a product, and after we apply a discount of 10% on the same product, the quantity sold is not changing. So an advice that we want to say to our management is, we think that it's better to use a 5% discount if you want to use a discount, because increasing the discount is not increasing the quantity sold. So being smaller the discount leaves us with an highest profit. Second question is it December the month with the highest revenue? So we all know that December contains the Christmas period. So we wanted to check if is it December the month with the highest revenue. And as we can see from this graphic straight away, we notice that yeah, December's got an high peak, but it's not the highest one. Actually, the highest is May, followed by August. And so as we can see, we failed to reject our hypothesis for April, May, June, August, and November. So our revenue is actually higher on this month compared to December. And our advice is to focus our product strategies during these months, because as we know, December is a month where the competition is really high and obstinate sometimes. So probably it would be easier to focus one of our strategies on another month. The first question is, does discount amount have a statistically significant effect on the revenue? In this case, we take in consideration revenue, not anymore the quantity. And as we can see, we reject the null hypothesis for discounts of 5% and 20% and 20% 25%. So there's actually a difference in terms of quantity sold when we apply this, when we compare those discounts. And our advice is actually to focus our attention on 5 and 20% because being the coins effect size bigger and being the overall discount less than, for example, 20 25% leaves us also in this case with a higher revenue. Next question is, there is statistically significant difference in shipping time between different shippers. And as we can see from the graphic that we obtained, and also from our test results, that federal ship is actually more efficient. In this case, we were going to check the number of days took for each company to complete successfully a delivery. And the advice that we're gonna give to our management is to understand why the other companies are taking longer, and in case to ask for a discount to those companies or to switch all our orders to the federal shipper. The fifth question is, there is statistically significant difference in terms of revenue for different countries, and in this case we failed to reject our hypothesis. So it's actually, the profit is actually the same in proportion for each country. This is quite interesting. So that means that there is no a country in particular where that is giving us an highest revenue on average. So the advice is to keep investing also in those smaller countries where the revenue is less. Because as we can see, the revenue on average is more or less the same, and this means that we can expand the market also on those countries. Finally, the last question is, between the categories that we got, there are some categories that can gives us an higher revenue compared to the other ones. And actually, we can answer yes to this question. As we can see also straight away from this graphic, produce, seafood, and meat and poultry gives us an higher revenue by category. And if we check also our test, we can conclude that we can reject the null hypothesis in these cases. And it's quite interesting to notice that produce contains dried fruit and bean card in this category. So I think that those are items easy to conserve, easy to ship, compared, for example, to the seafood or to the meat and poultry. So our advice is to be focused, more focused our strategies on this particular category that seems to be really good in terms of revenue. Finally, there are some other things that obviously we would have liked to explore furthermore, like, for example, how each category is impacting on the country, also having more data about the shippers and suppliers to check the efficiency and a more in-depth analysis. But for today, it's all. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.